Hi, this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. In this video I will show you a game between Wei Yi and IanNepomniachtchi. This is a game from the Jerusalem Grand Prix played in 2019. Wei Yi had white pieces and he started with knight to f3. IanNepomniachtchi played knight to f6, c4, the English opening. I will not go into a deep analysis because the game was quite long. The rumor says that players stopped recording after their pens ran out of ink, and Nepo had a nap and fell asleep twice during the game. Just kidding. No, I'm not. Have a look at this picture. The game continued. c5, the symmetrical English. Wei Yi played knight to c3. Knight to c6, d4, c takes on d4. Knight takes on d4, e6, g3, the standard move, queen to b6, knight on d to b5. This is a popular line seen many times before. Knight to e5, bishop to g2, a6, queen to a4. Rook to b8, knight to a3, bishop to c5, and both players castled king's side. Rook to b1, queen to b4, intending to trade queens. Perhaps Nepo wanted to draw with the black pieces and go for a win with the white pieces. Queen to d1, d6, knight to a4, b5, knight takes on c5, queen takes on c5, c takes on b5, a takes on b5, white to move, bishop to g5 was played. Another way to go was bishop to e3 and after queen to c7, queen to d4. Bishop to g5, bishop to a6, white to move. White has a bishop here. How relevant is that? And also, white can play bishop takes knight on f6, damaging black's pawn structure. The game continued with knight to c2, b4, knight to d4, bishop to b7, rook to c1 attacking the queen, queen to a5, threatening to take the pawn on a2. Bishop takes on b7, rook takes on b7, and Wei Yi decided to chop the knight and to damage the pawn structure around the black king. G takes on f6, queen to b3, rook to a8, threatening to take the pawn on a2. How to defend the pawn? Wei Yi played f4, black to move. Queen to a7, pinning the knight. e3, knight to d7, queen to d1. If rook to a1, then f5, and then knight to c5 and black is okay. Maybe back to our game. Queen to d1, queen takes on a2. Wei Yi gave up the pawn in his true style and went after the black king. Queen to g4 check, king to h8, queen to h5, king to g8, queen to g4 check, king to h8, queen to h5, king to g8. Like I said earlier, Nepo wants a draw and to go for the win with the white pieces in the second game. Wei Yi had to make a decision. Draw or risk and go for a full point. He decided to go for a full point with knight to b5, black to move. How to defend the pawn on d6? What would you do? Rook takes on b5 was played. What happens if black plays rook to b6? Then knight to c7, and after say rook to d8, f5. Back to our game. And if rook goes to b8, rook from b to b8, then knight takes on d6, after rook to f8, rook to c7, and white is standing much better. Back to our game. Rook takes on b5, queen takes on b5, queen takes on b2. For his rook, Nepo has a piece and two pawns, so material is equal now. However, black has a pass pawn which may be dangerous. Rook to b1, queen to c2. This is one of the most critical moments of the game. Rook from f to c1 was played. Perhaps rook to a1 should have been considered. Opposing the black rook on the open file. If rook takes on a1, rook takes on a1, queen to c3, rook to a8, check, king to g7, rook to d8. With chances for both sides. How about queen takes on b4? This move has a big downside, and that is rook to a2 and black wins. The same happens if rook takes on b4, rook to a2, black is winning. Back to our game. Rook from f to c1 was played. Queen to d2, queen takes on b4, queen takes on e3, check, king to h1, rook to a2. After the invasion on the second rank, black is standing better. Rook to c8, check, also removing the target from c1. King to g7, rook to b2, queen to f3, check, king to g1, queen to d1, check, king to g2, rook to a1. Another critical moment. Queen to b5 was played. If king to h3, then queen to h5, check, and after king to g2, queen to d5, and black can go for a draw, like this. Back to our game, we have queen to b5, f5, queen to e2. Let's take it back. If queen takes on d7, what happens then? This move has a tiny downside. Queen to f1 is checkmate. Queen to e2. Queen to d5, king to h3, knight to f6, rook from b to b8, rook to a2, rook to c2, rook takes rook, queen takes rook, queen to f3, rook to b3, queen to f1, check, queen to g2, queen to e1, queen to b2, king to g6, king to g2. Did you notice how the black pawn on d6 was sitting there for a long time? Well, his time has come to contribute to the Nepos efforts. d5 was played, rook to b8, queen to e4, check. And now comes jab, 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 waiting for opponent to get his hands down and to go for the right hook. King to h3, queen to f3, rook to b3, queen to f1, check, queen to g2, queen to e1, queen to c2, queen to f1, check, queen to g2, queen to c4, rook to b8, h6, king to h4, queen to d3, rook to b2, knight to g4, queen to e2, queen to d4. Not trading queens. If the queen was a helicopter, she would land on h5 with checkmate. King to h3, queen to g1, queen to g2, queen to d4, queen to e2, queen to c5, queen to c2, queen to g1, queen to g2, queen to e3, queen to e2, queen to d4. Is this a threefold repetition? The game continued. Queen to c2, knight to e3, queen to b3, knight to d1, rook to e2, knight to f2, check, king to g2, knight to g4, queen to b8, knight to f6, queen to b2, queen to c5, rook to c2, queen to e3, rook to e2, queen to a7, queen to a2, queen to c5, queen to c2, queen to d6, queen to b2, knight to e4, queen to d4, queen to a6, rook to c2, knight to f6, rook to d2, queen to a5, rook to e2, queen to a3, queen to b2, queen to a7, queen to a2, queen to d7, queen to b2. Black to move. The way Nepo was going, he could have a draw, but he sensed that he can get even more than half a point, perhaps 3/4 of a point. Just kidding, the full point. d4, going for a full point. Rook to d2, queen to d5, check, king to g1, d3, queen to e5. Let's take it back. If queen to c3, then knight to e4, and black is winning. However, white could have tried queen to a3. the game would last longer. But probably Wei Yi got tired, and he played queen to e5. Black to move. How would you continue? Nepo played queen to e4. Queen takes on e4, f takes on e4. Black rook will now have a hard task, fighting the knight and blocking two pawns. King to f2, knight to d5, just in time to control e3. Threatening e3, check, winning the rook. King to e1, king to f5, rook to d1, e5, exchanging his double pawn for a healthy white pawn. King to d2, pawn takes pawn on f4, g takes on f4, knight takes on f4. King takes on f4 also wins. It is a matter of taste. Knight takes on f4. Rook to a1. If king to e3, one line goes like this. King to e5. Rook to a1, knight to d5, check. King to d2, f5. Who can stop this? Back to our game. Rook to a1 was played. King to e5, rook to a6, h5, rook to a8, f5, and Wei Yi resigned. For the entertainment purpose, I will show you no lines, because the game was already too long. But if you insist, I will show you just one line. Okay, let's say rook to a5, check. Knight to d5, rook to a3, f4, rook to a4, f3, rook to a5, f2, rook to a1, king to f4, rook to b1, e3, check. King takes on d3, king to f3, rook to a1, e2, king to d2. And now you can continue according to your taste and style. That was quite a hard game. The second game of the finals ended in a draw. Congratulations to Nepo, who reached the candidates tournament. What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.